Speaking to an older African-American gentleman earlier this evening. This man has been around, a lot of wisdom, made some mistakes in life, but those mistakes have made him even wiser. I enjoy speaking to old folks, especially old African-Americans, because there's something about suffering that gives you a particular insight. You know, Richard Pryor said, you don't get to be old being no fool. He said he's seen a lot of young fools and they're dead. And I think that's true. I think this is a certain thing that we've been missing in our community, is the ability to have opportunities to sit back and talk to old people, listen to the old stories, because this is where wisdom comes from. I think there's an old biblical saying about honoring your mother and father and your days will be long. And I don't think it's some spooky spiritual thing where you're going to get punished if you don't. But it's just a reality that your mother and your father are people that have been around, have gotten experiences, insight, and understanding. And if we honor them and we listen to them, that our days will be longer, our days will be more comfortable, and we will be more prosperous. But oftentimes we don't listen to our parents, and oftentimes we have to chuckle, but it is sort of a subconscious lament that now I know what my mother or now I know that my father was talking about. But if we could just take the advice when we don't know what they're talking about, when we don't quite understand, but just because we're honoring them, we'll find ourselves, in a better position as we get older. Because they know. They know. So what I'm suggesting today is that every day that we wait, every day that goes by that we don't take action to fix the situation of our lives is just one day further away from being better. And then we get focused. Just start taking that, take that first step, and just begin walking the right direction. Let things take care of themselves. I think this one thing for me has been like this President Obama. This isn't a political message, it's just a reality for me, seeing an African American attain something that I never thought was possible. And so then I determined, I'm going to do something. Back when he was only in office for like a month, and I made a determination, I'm going to go to school and get the degree that I've never gotten. Just a couple of months ago I got that degree, this many years later. I mean, it wasn't an easy process. I go to the counselor's office and sort of an advisor and just get a list of all the classes I had to take, and I just started here and just started taking the classes, and finally I got to the last one and took it. The journey of 1,000 miles begins beneath your feet. Just take that first step. Really, it's a shame is to allow this man to come into office to inspire so many of us, to open our eyes to recognize that what we believed all our lives isn't true. That there isn't a glass ceiling on an African American. And we've only had 40 some odd presidents, so that's something that white folks don't do either, really. I mean, compared to how many white folks have been on this planet or in this nation since its inception, and only 40 plus have become president. So this one African American, it's the same story for them as it is for us. That there's nothing on this in this nation that you cannot do. And what limits our choices, what limits our opportunities are the choices that we make. And that's what I was expressing a couple of programs ago, that some certain things might be too late for us because it's taken this long before our eyes have been opened, but it's not that late for our children. And if we could somehow impart into our children the reality of what we've seen with this new president, that they can be president, that they can be greater than what they ever thought they could be, the lives of our children will be changed. But it just doesn't have to stop there. As long as you have breath, as long as you're on this planet, you can change too. My little sister's just a couple of years younger than me. She got her master's degree, maybe a year or so ago. She's working on her PhD at this point of her life. Anything is possible. You just got to believe it. And if not for you, stretch and believe it for your children. Now there are ways, because it can be overwhelming. You know, I could have looked at that paper where that advisor gave with all those classes on it and determined, you know, I'm not going to be able to do this. There's just too much. All this stuff I got to do. How can I do this? And I could have just lost my mind. First quarter, I took like 3 classes. Next quarter, I took 2 classes. And then for the next 3.5 years, I just took 1 class a quarter. I mean, I had some classes over it, but that's what it took. Whatever it needed to take, that's what it took. My daughter has a playroom. A lot of toys. My wife likes it to be straight and neat. But you know, whenever my wife has her girlfriends over, her girlfriends that have kids, they go in the playroom and they just like tear it up, you know? And then they go home, and then my wife wants my daughter to clean it up, and she's like, that's not fair. You know, it was your friends' kids. You know, she doesn't say that, but I know that's what she's thinking. And my wife made her one, you know, we go in there and clean it up, and your playroom, blah, blah, blah. I didn't think it was fair either. But you know, I don't want to challenge my wife in front of my child, so I went in there, I said, look, I'm going to help you clean it up. She felt a little better. I said, we're going to make it, because it was told up, okay? And so I said, we're going to make a game out of this. She looked at me like I'm crazy. I said, look, each of us, we're going to pick up 50 things, okay? I don't care how small, but we're going to pick up 50 things, both of us. Okay? So we went out picking 50 things. Man, that room was just about clean when we were done. I said, okay, now we're going to pick up 25 more things. We started picking up. We came to the point where we had 22. And we're looking around and picking up something else, 23, 24, finally 25. Made it fun for her. And she was able to accomplish a large task by looking at smaller accomplishments. And as she addressed those small accomplishments, the whole thing fixed itself.